You're not hiring a real estate agent, you're hiring a negotiator, a strategist, a contract hawk, and someone whose paycheck now comes out of your pocket. Thanks to a massive legal settlement between the National Association of Realtors and the Department of Justice, buyer's agents have to have a signed agreement in place, and it has to state who is paying the commission, how much the commission is, and how long that it's in place. And here's the big spoiler alert that people don't know. It's the buyer. So now the question is, should I work with this agent? It's actually, are they worth it? Let's talk about how to find out before you sign anything you'll regret. For decades, buyer's agents got paid from the seller's side built into the listing commission. You didn't see the cost, so most buyers never question it. And that's over. After the DOJ investigation, the NAR settlement now mandates transparency. Starting last year, listing agents can't advertise a buyer's side commission in the MLS, and buyer agents must get a signed agreement that lays out their fees. That means you'll see your agent's fees up front. You'll agree to pay them directly or negotiate seller coverage in your offer, and you'll have to sign a contract before seeing homes, or at least that's what you're supposed to do. And here's the kicker. If you don't sign, they can't legally represent you. Not show you homes, not write an offer, nothing. So it's no longer just about liking their personality or trusting the reviews on Zillow. You need to interview them, and you have to do it like you're the boss, because you are. Let's start with the obvious. What do you charge? That's a fair question now, and it's always been a fair question, but agents need to be ready to answer it. Most will give you a number 2.5% to 3%. Some might say whatever the seller offers. Others, they'll put out a buyer agreement and ask you to commit to paying the difference if the seller falls short. And here's what you need to follow up with. Are you flexible depending on the situation? Why? Because home prices vary, and so should their fee structure. A $600,000 buyer might generate a different commission than someone shopping at $275,000. You might be buying new construction or for sale by owner. Their compensation should reflect that, and a good agent will discuss, not dictate. A good bonus question to ask: would you ever walk away from a deal if your commission wasn't met? Because some agents will do that. You deserve to know that before falling in love with a house. Here's the honest truth. Agents are scrambling, at least buyer's agents are, and their fees have gone down while sellers' agents' fees have gone up. This new model threatens their old way of doing business, and many are trying to protect their income by locking in rigid terms. That includes non-refundable retainers, commission floors, like I only work with buyers who guarantee me 3%, and worse, blanket contracts that lock you in even if the agent doesn't do the work. So this brings me to a cautionary story, and quite frankly, this is not a one-off scenario. This is actually the reality of the industry, and when you're an agent buying leads through Zillow, this is the process. Buyers will click on schedule a showing, and they think they're contacting the listing agent because they have some questions or maybe want to see if there's offers on the table right now. But what they're actually getting is a buyer's agent that pays for that person's information. And most of the time, and this is the reason that Zillow is so successful, is that most of the time, those buyers will go and work with that buyer's agent. And what happens if they decide to write an offer on that property? Well, it happens a lot where they end up writing an offer. There's a multiple offer scenario. They don't get the property, and they find out that they're actually locked into a 6-month agreement. So you need to really pay attention to what you're signing and also who you're contacting through Zillow. So before you hire an agent, before you buy anything, before you click schedule showing on Zillow, let's talk about the interview questions that you need to have ready to ask, whether that's a buyer's agent that you meet through Zillow or a friend or a family member. These questions will really help you determine if this agent is the right pick for you. So when you interview agents, you need to treat it like a job interview, because that's what it is. Here are 7 high-impact questions to ask. What's your fee, and is it negotiable? Gauge flexibility and how they frame their value. Do you charge any additional fees like a transaction fee or brokerage admin fee? Many firms tack on $300 to $700 just for paperwork. Do you work with a team, or do I deal with you directly? Here's why that question is important, because many top teams that are paying $100,000 to $300,000 a year to be on Zillow and get those buyers' information, they have a large team that they're working with, and typically in that buyer's agency agreement that you're signing, you'll have 1, 2, 3, or maybe even 5 agents in the office that can work with you. So when your primary agent that you interviewed becomes too busy with more important deals, they may pass you off to a different agent. So it's important to know exactly who you're going to work with throughout the entire process of the contract. What happens if I find a for sale by owner or new construction home? Here's the important thing to consider with for sale by owner. Typically, they don't want to pay any fees and they don't want you to have your representation. New construction doesn't like to pay buyer agency fees either unless your agent is present on that initial open house at the site. Have you ever advised a buyer not to buy a home, and why? This is really important because you want someone who will protect you, not just close. What makes you different from other agents who charge the same fee? This is incredibly important because if they're charging more, they better be bringing more to the table. Those are 7 high-impact questions that you're going to get a ton of value out of. You're going to learn more about your agent. You're going to be able to see really where their loyalties lie. Does it lie to a perfect flat rate of 2.5% or 3% no matter what? Or are they flexible about the situation? Many times agents are negotiating their commissions to make deals work. And honestly, it's important to have at least that opportunity to have that conversation with an agent. In this module, you're going to find down at the bottom more than just 7 questions to ask your agent. I put together a whole list of questions that you should be asking any agent that you interview. You'll be able to cherry pick which ones are the most important to you, but each one is going to have value for different areas, whether that's expertise, location, experience, how they negotiate, how they handle multiple offers. It's important to ask them a ton of questions. The agent really should be doing a lot less talking, at least asking you questions, because that's their job as a salesperson, is to ask you questions to figure out your why, and you should be asking questions during this process. Once you're past that and you decide that you're going to work with an agent, you need to know what's in the agreement, and you should negotiate what's inside the agreement. The agreement you sign with your agent, called a buyer-broker agreement, lays out the commission owed, time commitment, the geographic area covered, and who gets paid if you buy a home. Most buyers don't know you can negotiate all of this. You can cap the commission, shorten the time window, exclude certain types of homes like new builds or family sales, even add a clause that lets you walk away if expectations aren't met. In video 4, we'll dive deeper into custom clauses you can add to protect yourself, because those are often the only safety net you'll have. In the next video, we'll expose the biggest red flags buyers ignore and how to spot agents who are working for the deal and not for you. I'll see you in the next video.